What is up, everybody? It is me and Derek Muffin here, back for Chapter 25 of the Golden Armor, at the Gala Part 2. Shining Armor sat with his head in his hose, wondering what to do. As if the threat on the attack of the princesses wasn't bad enough, now he had a rogue griffin to deal with. Apparently this was some kind of cosmic joke, since all this was happening before the biggest event of the year. He darkly wondered if the griffin was in on the plot to attack the princesses, since she had attacked two key guards, Comet and Blackberry. Comet was supposed to guard Princess Celestia, and Blackberry was to be near the royal table where the three princesses would be eating at. Finally, he put his hooves down and said, "No, we will continue as planned. If they're all well enough, they can stay at their posts." The pony he was talking to, Paradox, had nodded his head. Angel bounced happily in her new armor she had been fitted for days earlier. It was now all purple with the blue eye on the chest. It covered her entire back and even came with an awesome-looking helmet and a new weapon. Claws. With all of it on, she thought she looked rather awesome as she squealed with delight in her new garb. She heard the bathroom door open and slam shut. Curious, she spun to see a mass of white feathers and brown fur tackle her. Reacting instinctively, Angel brought her hooves around her assailant, effectively pinning the pony down. She rolled in the air, flapping her wings to get upright, and landed squarely on top of the intruder, bringing her newly forged claws to the neck of the body. A pair of brilliant gold irises looked up at her, along with a black beak contorted into some kind of angry look. "Valerie!" Angel shouted, immediately turning off her attack mode and hugging the griffin underneath her. "Where have you been? I couldn't find you or Comet anywhere!" The bat pony squeezed the griffin into an even tighter hug, effectively wringing out what little breath Valerie had. Before Valerie could get a word out, Angel leaped up, giddy as a school filly, and bounced up and down in place. "So what'd you think of my new armor? Isn't it so cool? I got a new chest piece, a helmet, and claws. Look at these!" Valerie grimaced at the set of purplish claws thrust into her face by a goofy bat pony she called her friend, any further than she would have claimed at least one of her eyes. That's cool, Angel, but..." the griffin tried to say before she was cut off by Angel. "I know!" the bat pony shouted again. "Aren't they amazing? I can finally fight like you! The armor said he was asked to make custom weapons by Shining Armor for the Gala to complement each guard's fighting ability. But I never expected him to be this cool." She accentuated her point. Angel took up two battle poses. One on her rear legs holding the claws above her like a ninja pony, and the other standing on all fours, holding a claw up to her mouth like a cat. Valerie did admit to herself that it was rather cool, but she had more pressing matters than aesthetic appearances right now. "Angel, I really need to talk to you." She tried again before Angel invaded her personal space. She reached out with one of her hooves and lifted up one of Valerie's claws up to her own face before lifting her own claw to examine them side by side. "Yours are so much more longer and cooler," Angel said with a hint of sadness in her voice before her happy mood kicked back in. "Still, you've got the coolest set of claws there is. Bird claws. I've got claws that look like they're from some cool comic book like Batman or Spider-Colt. Angel, well, Stupid Stallion. Angel. Or even the Green Torch. Angel." Angel gasped before continuing. "Wait, what about the X-Ponies? Isn't there that one stallion who..." "Angel!" Valerie shouted, breaking the bat pony's reveling. The large gold eyes she had darted up to meet Valerie's own, and the griffin took a deep breath. "Angel, there's a serious problem with Comet," she stated, seriously. Angel's eyes shrunk, and before she could say anything, Valerie continued. "Angel, he's in deep trouble with some really shady ponies. I saw him get up last night and wandered out of the armory and..." "Wait," Angel interrupted. "Why were you following him around at night? Why did you follow him?" Well, he was acting suspicious," Valerie flustered. Angel narrowed her eyes at the griffin, who clearly wore a nervous face there for a couple seconds before she returned to being serious. That's not the point, Angel. Comet... "Why were you following him?" Angel almost growled, silencing Valerie. Angel hated she had been lied to, and she knew Valerie was hiding something. "What business do you have following my girlfriend?" Valerie's chest dropped into a nothingness as her heart felt like it stopped for a second. She had a sneaking suspicion that she had just revealed to Comet's mare friend that something she should never have found out about. The silence quickly became tense as Angel's eyes narrowed, her slit pupils boring into Valerie's own round ones. Valerie tried to take a curious step backwards, but Angel stepped forward at the same time. "What were you trying to do with him?" Angel snarled. Now fully angry, she knew Valerie was hiding something, now something big involving her and her comment. I was trying, Valerie stammered before Angel tackled her this time. It wasn't playful in the slightest. Angel quickly pinned Valerie into submission and glared daggers into her eyes. "What have you been doing with my girlfriend?" Angel nearly shouted. Now scared for her life, in a way those black ponies couldn't have ever scared her, Valerie began to tremble under the bad pony who went from cute and adorable to downright terrifying in less than 10 seconds. She gulped hard, trying to calm herself, and barely managed to speak with a small, squeaky voice. Comet and I, we kind of, Say it! Angel shouted at her. We've kind of, had a thing going on, Valerie stated, utterly terrified. Angel was quite quiet for a few seconds before she spoke again, hissing like a venomous serpent. What do you mean by thing? We've kind of, we've kissed, Valerie stammered out. A soft, throaty growl escaped Angel's throat as she began to raise her left front hoof, one of the two with a claw attached to it. Valerie closed her eyes, bracing for a razor-sharp material to connect with her face when Angel spoke again. How many times? She choked out. 3! Valerie almost shrieked. Angel let loose a cry of frustration. Valerie could hear the sound of her hoof coming down. As she waited for the pain, she instead heard a hoof collide with the floor and the sound of metal chinking against the stone. Valerie opened her eyes to see Angel's face, pupils narrow with anger and fangs and teeth bared before a sharp pain struck her right cheek. Valerie managed to see Angel's hoof pass away from her face as the other shook off the other claw. Valerie didn't react as she struck her again and again. "You stupid featherbrain!" Angel shouted in anger. "How dare you do that with my girlfriend?" Angel reared up to hit the griffin with a fourth shot, but Valerie's claw shot out and caught it, holding her hoof in place. Valerie panted, but she managed to talk. "There! You got 3 free shots. You hit me more than I will hit you back." Angel cried out in anger and yelled, "You don't tell me what to do!" As quickly as she could, Angel brought her right hoof across Valerie's face before a powerful kick was delivered into her stomach. Angel gasped as she lost her breath and realized her armor didn't wrap around underneath her. She wheezed, a black claw shot up and scratched the pristine helmet the bat pony was wearing, causing her head to whip away. Seizing her momentary advantage, Valerie pushed with both of her claws and paused to shove Angel off of her. Angel flew backwards and landed 2 feet away. The 2 females scrambled to their hooves/claws, and Valerie tackled Angel this time. Valerie frantically tried to grab a hold of her hooves, but Angel's armor had tiny points on it, scratching the griffin as she pressed herself against her friend, or rather, nemesis now. Angel responded by roaring angrily and spun, attempting to best Valerie's effort to subdue her. She managed to deliver 2 swift strikes to the griffin, one in the air and one after they hit the floor. Before the griffin clawed the front visor of her helmet, Angel had just barely managed to close her eyes in time to feel the claw just barely graze her eyelid, not breaking the skin. If her eye would have been open, she might have gone blind. Angry beyond regular brawling now, Angel viciously headbutted the griffin while she was stunned, buried her fangs in the griffin's neck, getting a disgustingly copper taste of blood on her tongue. Valerie shouted in pain as she felt the teeth break her skin and flailed with her claws, finding a weak spot in Angel's armor, her wing joint. As Valerie's claws broke the skin as well, Angel wailed the exact same way, pulling her teeth out of Valerie's neck. With a final push, Valerie shoved Angel away and brought her claws up to her neck, trying to stem the flow of blood. Angel landed in a heap on the other side of the room, unmoving except for nursing her wing. Valerie turned and faced a mirror and examined the wound on her neck. It looked like something from that one monster movie. Vlad, the vampire bat pony. She had 2 pinpricks right near the base of her neck. It bled, not gushing, but enough to worry her. As she tried to wash the wound clean, she heard a faint sobbing from the other side of the room. Spinning around, she realized it was Angel. Why? She sobbed. Why do you get to be so lucky? Comet has never kissed me, not even on our dates. What makes you so special? Angel broke out into louder sobs, and Valerie felt the pit in her stomach grow, threatening to consume her. Angel, she tried to start, but Angel cut her off again. Tonight was supposed to be special. I heard Bat Pony cried. Me and Comet at the Grand Galloping Gala. All alone, I was hoping he would finally. Valerie gritted her beak as she heard her friend talk. Why was she so special? Comet had everything he wanted with Angel, so why was Valerie trying to take him away from her? Tears began to form in the Griffin's own eyes, and as Angel continued. They say if you kiss the pony you love at the gala, you'll be happy forever. And I was hoping Comet and I would do that tonight. Angel broke out into full bawling at that point, and Valerie started crying herself. Angel needed him just as badly as he needed her. So what was Valerie doing? Trying to live a pipe dream to escape her own homeland? Regret, among other emotions, crashed down upon Valerie as she started sobbing louder than Angel. Angel looked up at the Griffin, who had collapsed on the floor, and heard her speak. I'm so sorry, Angel, she shouted. I'm sorry for trying to take Comet from you. I never wanted to hurt you, but being with him it made me so happy. I didn't want to lose that, and I was a jerk. I'm so sorry. The Griffin sobbed harder than she had ever done before, buried beneath her own guilt and self-loathing. The Bat Pony, without any reason to, slowly stood up on shaky hooves and wobbled over to the emotionally distraught Griffin and put her hoof around her, laying next to her like Comet had done back on that stormy day. Valerie flinched at her touch, but Angel persisted, hugging the Griffin close, trying to calm her down. When Valerie finally calmed down enough to look at Angel, the Bat Pony spoke up. Valerie, I know what it's like to be happy. I never want to lose it. Comet makes me happy too, so happy I never want to leave him. But I'm a monster, the Griffin retorted, nearly crying again. I'm no better than those pigs back at my home. Angel gulped, but pressed on. No, you're better than them, Valerie. I don't know what your race is like, but I know you're nothing like them. Valerie sniffed and grumbled. If you knew what they were like, you wouldn't say that. Angel sat silently for a couple seconds, but steeled her will and said, Valerie, you're my best friend next to Comet, and while I may be angry at what you did, no amount of me hurting you or Comet will change what has happened. My father's always told me it's easier to forgive and forget than to carry grudges with you everywhere. You're a good Griffin at heart, and I know that, but Comet is my cold friend. He asked me out. Valerie grimaced at that, but she didn't argue. She knew Angel was right. But why do you get to be happy and I can't? Valerie moaned. You can be happy too, Angel challenged. You just need your own dream, Stallion. But you have my dream, Stallion, Valerie retorted bitterly. Valerie? Angel spoke softly. There's more than just one stallion in Equestria. There's one out there just waiting for you to find him. Valerie didn't respond to that, but continued to hick for a little while. Finally, Angel stood up and adjusted her armor, which had been knocked out of place in a couple areas, allowing Valerie to stand. When the two of them were standing, Angel locked eyes with Valerie's, her best friend, and held out a hoof with a smile. Friends? Angel asked. Valerie stared at the hoof, unsure of what to do. She was baffled by the ability to forgive this pony possessed, especially after what Valerie had done, but she tentatively reached out with a claw and shook it. Friends, she said a little less confidently than she would have liked. As she shook the hoof, Angel jumped to her and wrapped her in a nice hug. Valerie stood there unsure of what to do, but eventually smiled. While Valerie had a friend back in the Griffin Kingdom, Angel was definitely better than them. When the two of them finally released each other, Angel grinned wildly like her old self. So, what do you plan on doing with... Valerie began, but stopped as she remembered why she had initially come here. Comet! She shouted. Grabbing Angel's hoof, she pulled the Bad Pony along and said, There's not much time. Comet's in a huge amount of trouble. Okay, guys, that's the end of chapter 25. Yeah, okay, I'm not wrong. Good. Chapter 25 of The Golden Armor. Thank you guys for listening. And as of right now, I've got my finals done, school's over with, so things will be picking up the pace again. Right then, thank you all for listening once again, and have a good one.